Yo, it's ODB, our lifestyle podcast, aka OLP. Gonna hit you guys with issue 29, Mini Truckin Magazine flip through. Please consider subscribing, leave a comment. We appreciate all the old school folks that have said, yo, man, it's bringing back some memories, or that was my first issue, or man, my homie's truck was in that issue. We're gonna keep doing this through all 269. We're on number 29 today. So big ups to all the legends and the OGs out there that helped lay the foundation for this scene that we all love. So let's jump right in. Now, I do want to remind everyone you can visit our lifestyle podcast. I'll put a link in the box below, ourlifestylepodcast.com. You can order merch like this Mazda Bad Idea. Also, we've got the new Back to the Future Biff's Pleasure Paradise on pre-sale, OLP's Pleasure Paradise. But you got this classic cover, really the heyday going into 9/4, just really a lot of good issues. From here through the end of the decade. But you got the Mazda, you got the jet ski wave runner, you got the chick, you got the colors, you got a Hoppin' Mini on the cover. You see shore-to-shore event coverage, Hawaii's Cruz In 93, SoCal's 18th annual council run, and just really, really awesome. Shartsis shot this one. It's Banzai's second cover, so shout out to the legends in Banzai Cruisers. Let's jump right in. We're going to be at Made of Steel this weekend. If you're in the area, Dover, Florida, come out, 7th annual event. So you got color table of contents here. January 94. This is packed with, I believe it's 8 full features, which is really kind of at the tail end. It's either 8 or 9. That's at the high end. I think the highest, there weren't a lot of features jam-packed this much. Wet and Wild is the theme for this first 94 Mini Truckin cover. It's basically the magenta and blue Mazda, Laura Terran, Kodak Moment, Shartsis, thanks for the jet ski. So you can kind of get a chance to see here what's in here. You got the 2 events mentioned on the cover. You get the editorial. Now, although Shartsis is writing the editorial, you see in the upper left corner, Steve Stillwell is still the editor, which he will be for some time still, before Shartsis' awesome run. 9/4, you had the splash. Many of us remember the ad campaigns, the yellow splash. I mean, that was all the rage. 94 Chevy SS, plain and simple. Good stuff here. Now, some of these issues, they're a little bit harder to find. I mean, some of them pop up more often than others. This one took me a while to find, if I remember correctly. Pretty in pink. So you'll see more of this truck, I think, in this issue, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there you go. I was thinking of a different truck. So this one's Alabama. Really a clean setup. Engine bay, paint, stance. Real clean. XS. Didn't see enough lifted minis. They continued to cover them over the years, of course. I think they were bigger in the 80s and early 90s, but it's awesome to continue to see them out there. We loved highlighting the lifted mini on our famous, quote, River Run shirt, which we got a chance to see at Relax It in the Northwest, The Awakening 2019. I'm making plans to go back up there, Relaxing in the Northwest 2021. And it's going to be, you're going to want to fly into Medford, is what Ron was telling me. Seen this ad a bunch in here. Medford. So we're going to be gallivanting on up end of July, I believe it is, off the top of my head. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. What you know about that? Super clean. Always love these Blazers. Square, square body. Nice stance. And then we're still doing the features where you got to flip them. One of my favorite Blazers of all time, we had Bill Hancock on from the famed Colorado Custom. He worked there a long time. He talks about the history. That's one of our more popular episodes, kind of the billet wheel history with Bill. Say that a couple times fast. Just a great guy. I missed him at Mini Nats. He did gallivant on over on Sunday. He called me on his way over. I had peeled out already. Mini Market. So always highlighted the new products. I enjoy going back and looking at this stuff because it gives you some insight into products that were hot or cool or new at the time. Here you've got Chisholm. Suspension. There's been a good amount of suspension manufacturers over the years that have come and gone as well. AIM Industries. Grand Sweepstakes for the Ranger. Traders. Still got the offer in here. So here you have Neon Illusions. Rich and Beth from All Time Low Magazine. I think they're selling their Geo Tracker. This is a 91. We saw this photo earlier. Pretty cool. Got the T-top, or excuse me, the billet wheels. Billet lookalikes from Progressive, it says. Super popular wheels. Shartsis was putting in the work, and it was an honor to have him on the podcast. Thanks to Ruben Arteaga kind of linking us up. And as we've been mentioning, 30 years ago this summer is when the famed Relaxed Atmosphere was created. I just went over May 91, that Truckin cover issue, that Truckin issue. And what I did was I kind of kept that one a little bit more short and sweet. And I just went over the cover and Shartsis's Ranger. But that was right before RA started. Here's another Shartsis feature. And this is the truck I was thinking about earlier. Beyond Wicked Belief. Man, just I love this thing. True mini truck style graphics. You can see Banzai. Bed super clean. Those wheels. Clean engine bay. Man, so thankful that this magazine was created because, God, man, where would mini trucking, where would the scene and the lifestyle, as we call it, where would it be without this magazine? Of course, you see it was on Juice here. A lot of detail on the entire drive shaft, gas tank, rear end. Kind of looks like the Flexstone type paint, but really clean. So flip your handle. This was obviously a mod that still cleans up tailgates. I'm surprised that OEMs haven't moved into putting the tailgate handle on the inside, but we have seen innovation with tailgates, whether you agree or not. You basically have Chevy and Ford kind of doing all their different gimmicks on, flip down this, 10 different way that. I remember when my buddy first got the new GMC, it was like the first one in Tampa, and I went to his place, and he was showing it to me, and I was like, that's cool, and I was like, it's smart to make the tailgate more than it was all those years, but I think the majority of people that have that stuff, they're never going to use it. But anyways, the tailgate handle relocation is still a cool mod. out of the sport truck, mini trucking era. That hair dough. What you know about them times? 9-4, 9-3. John McCormick, Mesa, Arizona. It's fun going through these issues and narrating this, so thanks for everyone that continues to come back. Turn on post notifications if you tap the bell icon. Surprise, Mom and Dad, I told you I could do it. So this was the cover truck. Sherwin Vega. I think, right? That's the logo, I think. Look like it. When I was in high school, there was one kid that had a Vega, Sheldon, and his brother was a couple years older than he was, and he was a guy that knew a fair amount. I mean, he was doing high-end car audio stuff, like, right out of high school. My buddy Paul and I, we'd go over there, and Sheldon, I think, built him a box, and then Paul, from there on out, did his own stuff. Not Sheldon, but his brother did. His brother built the box. But Sheldon had a Sherwin Vega, and those things, I forget how expensive they were, but I mean, they definitely were the creme de la creme as far as at least notoriety. If Paul happens to watch this one, he might be able to chime in on really were they what they say they were back then. Cutting edge audio. Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute, I think it's Sherwin Vega. And then I kind of looked and I was like, I don't think it is. But anyways, I got Sherwin Vega in. Many of you will know the Sherwin Vega brand from Vanilla Ice Song, and the Vegas were pumping. Shout out to my brother Tim from NC, Florida. He's sharing some heat. Rest in peace, Courtney Hallowell. He's sharing some cool photos. It's going off my top of my head, NC Original, Florida. He changed his Insta name because he sold the Toyota, went to a new home. Soundgarden. I was talking to Ron last night, Ron Perkins, and he was here. We're headed over to Made of Steel. And I was telling him about these different channels I end up watching on YouTube, and from anyone that's from my era or the era that I grew up in, all these different guys have been going to Kurt Cobain's house. They're kind of getting access in there. There was like a rumor that it was going to get torn down and demolished, and people are kind of going and doing that, which is kind of cool. As far as I don't know how they're getting in there, but here's Down to Earth. Shout out to our DTE fam, Chris Kudo and all the OGs. This is Stu Thayer's 91 Yoda. But there's a couple guys I've been watching, but somehow I started watching this guy called Scott on Tape. And he's got a buddy. They went to the Kurt Cobain house where Kurt wrote a lot of the in utero content, I guess, in the closet. But Scott on the Tape went to Pasadena, and he found the pool where the original cover was shot with the little baby. And that was pretty cool. And then he found where the other pool was at, where they took a lot of the photos where they were underneath the water with their instruments. And he told the story on how Kurt Cobain had showed up, and he was like not feeling it, and it was super chilly that day. But there were two different pools, and one of them is no longer there. The one where they took the photos with the instruments underwater, like the outtake. I don't want to say outtake photos. I think they were like the insert photos and stuff within the pamphlet. Other photos. I'm not I don't know as a lot about Nirvana, but I know there's a huge cult following in that era. But I say all this, I don't know how I got off on this tangent, talking about just YouTube content. They also go in one of the videos, I think it's the same guys, they go to where the Teen Spirit video was shot. And it was shot like on a little studio. And the other thing is when they get access to the back, they actually line up where some of the band photos were taken, like little outtakes when they were sitting out smoking and just hanging out. So I just love that stuff. With YouTube, I mean, there's more and more content creators out there just doing some awesome stuff, and I almost enjoy it more than TV, which I don't watch a lot of these days. There's Miami Lakes, Sunshine State Amigo, This Isuzu Dough, clean. But it's definitely enjoyable on YouTube because, man, you can just find people that have similar interests. And even if I'm not, like, let's say I'm not the biggest connoisseur of Nirvana, I still feel like, you know, the dedication that these guys have, you know, if they're fans of the music or Kurt Cobain or the story of, you know, where was this album cover shot? Wild Side. I appreciate all the folks that chimed in recently that said, hey, the videos aren't too long, man. Love the content. You know, that type of stuff means a lot. Sometimes I'm looking at the timer and I'm like, oh, man, these videos are getting long. But it does help because for us, we need to get to 1,000 subscribers. Or I think it's like 4,000 minutes watched. And for anybody that's out there and, you know, you're debating on getting on YouTube and doing your thing, here's Gold Rush 2. You can just see it's jam-packed with features. This one's from Dallas. But the bottom line is you just got to make content. You have to put content out there. You can't do a video and then wait 6 months and do another video. I mean, by all means, you can. But, you know, it's going to be tougher to grow. It's going to be tougher to get to 1,000 and you know, and get your channel where it's going to get a little bit more traction, so to speak. There's no other way to really put it. If you want to grow the channel, you've got to put content out. And people like Garage Gear Clothing, they continue to do that. This is from NC, North Carolina. Pretty cool. Look at that line on the window, on the windshield though. Got the cab visor, headlight covers, all that cool stuff. But here's like one of those little things I've mentioned in the past. I think it was just in there to keep the insert card towards the front of it. Tilt beds on the rise. Looks like you got the mod going on with the tailgate or the gas door. Love these little layouts too. You know, Courtney did this one, rest in peace, but the layouts, you know, to me with the colors and stuff kind of remind me of that era. Of course, like Saved by the Bell was big around that time. And it just is what it is. Here you see Choice Concepts. Volleyball. Check out the clothes. I was rocking my Jordan jersey around that era too, which I still have, an authentic Jordan jersey from the early years. Bought in the University Square Mall here in Tampa, which is basically kind of getting torn down, it looks like. I don't know if they're leaving parts of it up. But I say all that because I'd like to eventually get into doing more stuff with like showcasing stories about Tampa. That's where I was born. And basically parents moved to Land O'Lakes in '79. They still live in the same place. Rest in peace to my pops. His friend at work told him about the house that was going up for sale. And he went out and looked at it and purchased it. '79. But it's pretty cool to see people highlight their cities or stories or bands that came through there. Speaking of Nirvana, there was a guy that was on my team many years ago, and he told me a story about when Nirvana came to Ybor City, I think it was, before they really blew up. That's a nice drawing. I like that one. If I remember correctly, because he was a huge Nirvana fan, and he said they came here right before they blew up, and I always regret not going to see Kendrick Lamar. He came to Ybor City before he blew up, and my buddy and I were already listening to K-Dot, as he was referred to then. Kendrick Lamar. Check out that S10, that rear wheel offset dough. Classic colors, for me at least. But, yeah, I got a chance to see Nipsey Hussle. I had followed Nipsey Hussle for a long time before anybody knew who he was out here. We tried to go to a concert in Ybor. I always love this truck, by the way. Tried to go to a concert in Ybor, and it did not happen, apparently, over security or some weird issue, and it was like it sucked. And then we did see Nipsey less than a year before he was killed. He came back to Tampa, and we're like, all right, how's this going to go this time? Look at the Boyds. Alpine. Tweed. All the right ingredients. But so we saw Nip at a place called Club Asia, and look at the colors. Doug Carpenter, Cab Plus, College Station, lots of mini truckers in that area. And we did see Nipsey. That was April, and then the following year on March 31st, he was killed. This one you can just see how, like I mentioned, how many features. The cool concept truck. I mean, look at the mods on it, where the bed's cut like that. You can kind of see where the doors. I mean, this is crazy. Tacoma, Washington. Craig Braid might know about that one. That old school dough. A lot of history up in that Pacific Northwest. A lot of good guys. Glad I've met Ron over the years, and Jeff at Mini Garage. Good dude. Check out his channel. That's why I'll be going back up to Relaxin in the Northwest, the Awakening, in just a few months, man. I'm looking for flights now. Going to fly into Medford, as I mentioned. And Ron, I think, said it's a 45-minute ride. Get you a tent. I guess find you a room around there. Now, I know the homie NC Florida Tim. I know he's huge into these, I think. I used to know a guy that always seemingly loved these things. They didn't get enough love in mini trucking, but VW Rabbit pickup. Rabbits on the rise. If you didn't get a chance, check out the new episode of our Lifestyle Podcast. We got Chuck Healy Redbeard. Look at that, Splash Magazine. I need those, man. Redbeard's a good dude. He comes on, NC. He lived overseas. Lots of good stories from Japan. So check us out. Search OLP via pretty much any app like Pandora, like Spotify, like Apple Podcasts. Podbean is who hosts the podcast, so you could go all the way back to the beginning. If you find it, like many do, and they love going back and listening, check out Podbean on Android or iPhone. With that being said, ODB, stay on the rise this weekend. Hopefully we'll see you at Made of Steel. OurLifestylePodcast.com. Order some merch, show us some love, put a note in there when you do. We love seeing them. We appreciate everyone. This is Mini Truckin Magazine Issue 29. Shartsis shot the cover. Banzai Cruisers second cover. Stay on the rise, y'all. Be out here.